Good evening. My name is Ryan Harris, and I am a business and marketing coach for heart-centered entrepreneurs. And I moved to Boise about 2 years ago, and I fell in love not only with Boise, but with the tiny house movement. How many people here have heard of the tiny house movement or have seen tiny houses? All right. Glad to hear it. Well, not everyone can live in a tiny house, so I want to share with you how you can join the tiny house movement, but no tiny house required. The most important thing I want to share tonight is to help you have a happier life and to help the earth in the process. I think that's very important. So I want to give you permission and encouragement tonight to live more simply. We only have one earth. It's a beautiful place, and I believe we should love our mother. But with 7 billion people on the planet and growing rapidly, there's a limited amount of resources, as you guys know, so we have to use those resources wisely. We have a lot of problems environmentally with oil, the rainforest issue. I hesitate to use the word rape, but it is the rape of the rainforests and litter in general. We've got a lot of problems, but I don't want to beat the drum of problems. I want to beat the drum of solutions because we do have solutions to all these problems. But I do want to make you aware of that our typical suburban housing is a problem. It is not a sustainable housing model, because everything that we build with comes from the earth and goes back into the earth. So someday you're going to be drinking your house because it will be in your drinking water. I encourage you to exit the rat race, or at least minimize your participation in it. It is sort of insane that we go to jobs that we work at all day long to pay for a house that we can barely afford, that we leave empty all day because we're at the job trying to pay for the house. You have my permission to exit the rat race and live more simply. So choose wisely when it comes to your vehicle, your house, your family. Think about what's important to you. It's not always about money. It's about having a great lifestyle. As Steve just mentioned, there's so much to do here in Boise. I want you to get out and to enjoy it. So by having a simpler lifestyle, you can work less, spend more time outdoors, spend time doing the things that you love to do with the people you love. Again, to do this, a tiny house is not required, but I do want to point out that anyone can go tiny. The girl in the upper right-hand corner was only 12 or 13 years old and decided to build her own tiny house with her father's help, but her father died, unfortunately, during that process. So with the help of her mom and the community, they did finish the project. If she can do it, you can do it too. And again, it's not about building a tiny house. It's about simplifying your lifestyle. This is how I'm simplifying my lifestyle. This is the light box, which I'm very proud of. That's the start, and as she sits today in the lower right, I hope to have her done in about 4 months. It is a full-featured tiny house full of amenities, including a big soak-in tub, which I'm very excited about. So tiny houses and tiny living comes in all shapes and forms. The most important thing I'd like to share with you, that by going tiny and living simply, you have more options, more freedom, because you have to earn less money. So you don't necessarily have to go with a very small house, but they are more energy efficient. Your bills will go way down. Imagine if you only had to spend 10% of the amount you currently do on your mortgage, or on your electric bill, or for all your expenses. You could afford to work a lot less because you're spending a lot less. So the tiny living movement is about having more flexibility, more choices, more options, more simplicity. Simplicity, it's been proven, actually leads to happiness. So it's not about just acquiring stuff. As you can see, though, tiny houses come in all shapes and sizes, so you can let your imagination run wild. Even if you decide not to go with a tiny house, you can customize your own space. I think that's very important. You can really let your living spaces be an expression of your personalities, of what's in your heart. I think that's very important. And that's one of the reasons that I'm building a tiny house. I want my space to reflect my values and my lifestyle, and I encourage you to do that too. Bring the outdoors in, bring the indoors out. Tiny house spaces are amazing. Even though they're small, they can really uplift your heart to be in the space of a tiny house. If you do decide to go the tiny house route, again, just let your imagination be your guide. Build whatever you want, and you can do it. And if you do build it yourself, you will probably have no mortgage. How many people would like to get rid of the rent or mortgage payment out there? Huh? That's right. You can do it. So I wanted to inspire you with some of these visuals of tiny houses. Some of them are very cool. There's domes, there's yurts, there's tents, teepees, and container homes, as well as tiny houses like mine. It's important that you don't let society dictate what you live in. Don't let the government tell you that you have to have a 2,000, 3,000 square foot house. You get to make up your own mind. We can buck the system. We can change local regulations to support tiny housing and simplistic lifestyles. Thank you very much.